Thomas. Okay, so our next guest is Uri. Uri kind of was a regular during the beginning of the show, but he has left. He's left ship. But we're having him anyhow, kind of trying to grab Mark's position. As you can notice, he's making technical errors. But he'll be joining us in a second. So, Uri, let's add you to the screen. Why don't you? Okay, here you are, man. Here I am.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you check out the discussion with Juan?
Yeah, I saw part of it. This guy's good.
Wow, this guy is
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was crazy hearing about the projects. I mean, the technology that was used. We take so much for granted. We take Git for granted. Git that runs on the internet for granted. That's you have to send a software on CDs. That's an open source software. So that's crazy. An interesting project, the Kazan. But we have you right now, and you're here to basically trying to take the throne of Mark the DJ, right?
I couldn't, even if I tried hard.
That's for sure.
I saw actually the last changelog as preparation for this big role.
Yeah.
And I felt like the thing that we were missing is definitely another non-native English speaker. I felt like that was hardly needed. So that's why I was willing to step forward and take Mark's place. But by no means, I mean, you'll see it very soon. Nothing is like the original, and it's essentially just a copy.
Right. So
cheap copy.
And so that cheap copy comes with something you're going to share, right? So can you please?
Well, man, you're too eager.
No, I want to see something being shared, man.
It's the North fake.
We're still in the changelog, okay?
So yeah, as you can see from the first slide, and I'm not going to comment about it afterwards, but you can see it's different. We don't have the moving things around and all these bells and whistles. I still want to say, same as Mark, thank you so much to all the contributors. We had 15 contributors, 48. Oh, I think we're using not the latest. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll use the latest.
Let's use the latest. Maybe
it's better to use the latest.
There's more contribution.
I always try to use the latest when I can.
By the way, are you? By the way, are you counting? Are you counting wing libs as well, or just wing?
Oh, well, of course I'm counting wing libs.
Okay. And when did you start?
But actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of contributions from Winglib. Okay, so these numbers are completely off, but that's what you can expect from a cheap copy. So
no, I think he's doing the same mistake. Maybe he's not going to watch the show. I'm gonna.
He's watching. I've seen him.
Okay, you've seen him. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we had a bunch of contributors, amazing people that have done some amazing stuff, and let's get right to it.
Awesome.
Right?
Great. Let's see it.
Okay. So the first thing we'll show, I'm not gonna break that tradition. First guy is our beloved Chris.
Yep.
And Chris was not, was on vacation, but still he was able to accomplish this great addition. Essentially, Bring UI is another package that allows you to create custom UI. Now, it's important to say that at this point, Chris just created the API, and later on, we'll allow to consume that in the Win console, so people can actually see those buttons. But currently, it's still available through the simulator.
Interesting.
So what we can see here is pretty straightforward code that simply adds a button, adds the field, and allows and defines the interaction and what happens when you invoke, click the button, or what you want to see on the field.
Interesting. This is basically. I wonder about the name. Yeah, I mean UI sounds super important. I mean, just two characters. I'm wondering if this is the right name for this, but it's going to be interesting.
We've been notorious for changing names, so expect a name change.
Yeah. Okay.
We love our breaking changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second thing comes from Elad, and
nice.
that was desired for quite some time. That's the Singelton pattern. I'm assuming we'll create some sugar for that, but for now, this is the pattern to go, and you can see the link at the top that shows you the documentation that Elad added for that. So essentially, if you want to create just one instance of a resource, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so I see that basically, that kind of walks through the node and asks, okay, it goes to an auth function, static function of the node, gives it the scope and asks for the root node, basically. Got it, I see. And the use case for this is, we've seen two use cases for this right now that I know of. One of them, I think, in the checks
resource,
that the library, Elad is basically putting different checks, is storing them on the same bucket. So he wants to have a kind of a global bucket for this thing. And the other one is, I think I've seen it when people are adding providers, kind of Terraform providers. I think that's another use case that I've seen. So that's what I've seen. I'm wondering if people are seeing other use cases. That's going to be interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Basically, anything you want to share on. With multiple resources.
Yeah.
I think Chris used it also for PostgreSQL for sharing the project with multiple DBs, but I'm not entirely sure.
Interesting. Okay. Awesome.
Next we got the one and only Marcio.
Yeah.
So Marcio, every time he adds something that is super cool and great and is super focused on the CDK angle, making life easier for that great part of our community. And what he added here is essentially a way to cast a Wing cloud bucket or any cloud resource into its counterpart, AWS counterpart. So you can get some properties from there. Here in this example, you can see that we get the bucket ARN.
Yeah.
And he modeled that as an optional, so uses our syntax of E-flat. I think we discussed it before in Wingly.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward, but a great, valuable asset.
Interesting. So this basically makes sure that the return from that form function is an AWS bucket. Is that interesting? Okay, that's a nice. Do you know if it fails to cast, does it return?
It returns nil.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Great.
Oh, and for absent changelogger, he was able to implement something that it felt missing.
Yeah.
So this is a very simple piece of code that I have here, and it's just here to show you what happens when code fails in Winglang.
Right.
Let's assume we write something, and now it fails, obviously, because 2 plus 3 does not equal 8. And before that, since Wing compiles to JavaScript, we were only able to display what happened with the JavaScript, the error message that comes from the JavaScript that Wing compiles to.
Yeah.
But with Mark's change, we essentially are able to show the exact location, and it's a much nicer DX.
Nice, very nice. It's one of those things when the source map. It's something that. From a technical perspective, I'm not sure I know how it works. I've worked with the dynamic symbols before, but I'm not sure I know how it works. Might be interesting for to get Mark here and basically kind of to show us how this is implemented. What's the internal? I think that's interesting content for me. And so maybe maybe we should invite Mark. So Mark, if you are listening, maybe we should show us how it's done.
Yeah, I would have shown you,
of course,
but we don't have enough time.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Oh, interesting.
So this is one of I think we still have ahead of us 3 pull request changes that are my favorite.
Nice.
This is the third most.
The third most favorite.
Yeah. Well, the third favorite.
The third favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we used to have another extra character of dollar before the parenthesis in order to do string interpolation.
Yeah.
But that's not what Yoav wanted.
Yeah.
Yoav felt like he needs to change the world, and boy, he did.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. Broke any piece of software ever written in Wing.
Well, you know.
But to be honest, I was against even the idea of having. I mean, the reasoning for it's a redundant character. I'm against
Right.
that reasoning. So I didn't like it at first, and but actually I saw a lot and I were working together, and I saw him programming it, and it was nice. We don't have the syntax highlighted correctly yet, but it's still
in the making. It's in the making.
I mean, there's something succinct about it that I like. So I'm glad we have this feature. I think it's an important feature, and I think it's here to stay.
Yeah. Well, think again, because the next one is my second favorite. We reverted that horrible change. We couldn't live with it. Oh man. Yeah, that was too much. I mean, save one character. It's not that big of a change.
Yep. So why did you revert it, Uwe?
I didn't.
You didn't revert it?
Yeah.
So I
also
think,
contributed.
yeah, I think it's not really contributed by Yoav. I think that we have so in the team we have a rotation, a page duty rotation, and on-call rotation. And basically, that one of the most important stuff for us for the build to keep. I mean, we want our environment to be healthy for us and for contributors. So we want our build to be running. If we run our entire build process every time we merge code, it's just going to be too long, right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we're running tests on the cloud, we run the entire SDK, so we have a kind of a basic or a health check test that doesn't do a full end-to-end stuff.
It's quite substantial.
Yeah, it's quite substantial. It fails also, but from time to time, it doesn't catch all the issues.
Exactly.
And I think Elad Cohen was the on-call. He saw it and he reverted it, although it seems like you have reverted it.
Well,
so
yeah, I gave him the credit for it, so that's the only thing.
So thank God we got rid of it. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, wait till you see the next one. So that's my favorite,
Okay,
actually.
that's your favorite.
And we decided, I mean, listen, how much you save when you take one character off that string interpolation.
I love it.
Imagine the amount of trees you save.
I love it. It's it's also the dollar sign is I love it.
Yeah, and to be honest, like in all seriousness, I mean, we'll check it out. We'll see how it works. It seems cool. It's a nice change. It's got some soul into it, and we're always trying to improve the DX for developers. So we love these kind of changes. And when someone comes with an idea like that, we are eager to try it. But Wing is a living language, and we keep changing that. So we're very eager to get feedback on how that feels like to some of our users.
Yes. So we are in a way we haven't reached beta yet, right? So there's no stability right now in the language, and we want to use this. The fact that there's no stability right now, we want to cherish the fact that we are in this moment that we can experiment. Because after we pass that moment, we can't really experiment that easy. We will have to figure out other ways to experiment. So this is so now we're experimenting with no dollar sign. And again, as I said before, I like it. I think it's nice, and I like the fact that you have.
You took the initiative.
Yeah. Awesome.
Kudos, Yoav.
Yeah, I can also take the initiative, but I can implement the code, so no one will take me serious.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, another change from Yoav, and that was very much needed. So as you know, maps in Wing are the keys are strings, so that's easy to pass. But Yoav added support for passing an expression that string expression basically. So as you can see, all these different examples here. You can go as wild as you want, but as long as it compiles to a string, it returns a string.
Yes.
And that's a valid key for a Wing map.
Yes, maybe we should do the last example in our example. I mean, that's complex. I mean, I believe you that the one above it is complex, complex expression.
It's important.
If someone's gonna think this is a good idea to create keys, maybe this is a good idea to create random keys. I don't know. Let's hope they're not doing it.
Okay.
It's frightening.
Last but definitely not least, the console team. They've been working hard, and you'll see their work in the next few months. One of the things they added, Shai in particular, he created the React app resource representation on the Wing console. So you can see that we have the component, and we can get its website, the URL for it, and a few other properties. So that's important for getting the most out of working with Winglang resources.
Nice. Awesome. You could have shown the UI. When the UI part has a React component, so you should have show the console and the UI part.
The thing, it doesn't work yet on console. The console is not capable of reading that UI yet, but it will be.
I wouldn't call it a feature then.
It's definitely yeah. Well, we show you work in development.
Maybe it's not working at all.
No, it has API. It has. You can actually interact with it using the simulator.
Oh, nice. Okay, interesting. Okay, awesome. Okay, so there's an ability to test it. Makes sense. Awesome.
Exactly.
Was this the last one?
I think so. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much for doing this, man. I get you back here.
It's a pleasure, man.
And what was your favorite one?
I had 3, but yeah, the one with the dollar.
The one with the dollar. Okay, awesome. The dollar sign. Uri, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you for this interesting showdown of what happened in Winglang and not in the wing leads. And